Look at him! Theodore covers on Morning Joe and the Pro 2 times or twice this week. Good to see you, my brother. How are you? How you been? What's going on in Vegas?
So you know what I'm going to do today? So for those of you out there in viewer land, Lawrence is in a big rush today. So what I'm going to do is talk as slowly as I possibly can, just because he can't get off. Now, once we started recording, he's got no outs. He's got to wait for me to finish every last thing that I've got to say before he can even say the next word, because the camera's on me right now. You got nothing going, Lawrence. I'm in charge of how long this pod goes right now. You are at my mercy, my friend.
Okay, Teddy, except I've got the hang up button. We're going to talk NBA. I'm going to throw a bunch of games at you. But before we do that, I want to make mention to all our listeners. And Teddy, you were there, so I want you to add your thoughts. If you go over to WagerTalk TV on YouTube, our YouTube channel, there are some incredible videos that we did on Wednesday. Kelly brought in one of the best blackjack card counters on the planet. There is a video up on how to count cards in blackjack. There's a video up on how to beat video poker, which I didn't realize was beatable. There's a video up on how to take advantage of your trip to Vegas coupons and deals and what the best steakhouses are, etc., etc. And you did a couple of evergreen videos as well. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about some of the videos that were done on Wednesday.
Well, look, I mean, one of the things that we've been trying to do at Wager Talk, and you know that, is to put together good evergreen content when people really want to know the truth about Vegas, not what you're going to find in some guide and not what you're going to hear about from somebody who's bitching on the internet, but people that have actually lived out here for many years. So this, I mean, I really thought it was you're saying it with great videos, and you know me, Prez, I hate everything, content-wise. I'm like, this sucks, that sucks. These are great videos, legitimately, about the lifestyle of Vegas, about how to beat, and you talk about, Anthony Curtis is a card counter. Anthony Curtis is a pretty sharp guy to begin with.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good card counter. You talked about not knowing video poker was something the advantage players use. And advantage players, from when I've been in Vegas, have always used video poker as part of the overall picture, because video poker would play with optimal strategy can give you all kinds of comp points without giving the casino much of an edge. So anyhow, good videos and not long. We're talking, these videos are all less than 10 minutes, most of them 4, 5, 6 minutes, watchable, and something that'll help you get an idea of what it's like to live in Vegas and what it's like to actually go into a casino with positive expectation in Vegas. Two things that people like to do.
Yeah, and VR is amazing in the ones he did as well. And a couple of videos from the legend Dave Koken just telling stories about the past. I mean, guys, go to WagerTalk TV at YouTube and check these videos out. 7-8 minutes long each and really, really good stuff. Teddy, let's get to some NBA, my brother. Well, actually, before that, we should talk about what's going on at WagerTalk.com. I went 2-1 in college in NHL last night. Oh my God, I'm losing my shit. That's how busy I am. You, my friend, I take it, still rolling.
Yeah, it's been a really good run the last couple of weeks. We had a good month of January. We had a good closeout to February, and here in March has been great so far. This is the time of year that I like a lot, Prez. So certainly if you're looking to buy plays, visit Wager Talk. There's all kinds of stuff, but there's a ton of free info there, and that's what we really should be highlighting here on the videos, because the matchup pages, the trends, the angles, all the free content that you can find that will help you pick winners as well as picks if those are interested in buying.
And Teddy, we've been talking about our UFC guy a lot this week. Kyle Anthony, dude, is 69% in the last 14 months. 69 freaking percent. And he's got to play up on Saturday's card in the heavyweight clash. So head over to Wager Talk and check that out. And I'm going to get Kyle on next week. So we do it all, dude. And I'm even going to do a little bit of cricket. No, I've just been saying that all week. Anyway, brother, let's get straight to it. I'm gonna throw four NBA games at you. We're gonna talk about each of them. We're gonna start with Houston, -7.5, hosting the 76ers. Still can't figure out that stupid name, but maybe one day you'll explain it to me. Philadelphia just came off a loss against Chicago, of all teams. A 1-point loss. They did beat Orlando. They lost to Golden State. Houston, man, James Harden is putting down a season for the ages. They are on a 6-game winning streak. They have covered their last 2 games against the spread. The over and under here is 230, 31, and 32. It's all over the map. Theodore, what do we like in this game? And on a whole, are these teams buy or sell moving forward against the spread?
So the 7.5s are all gone now. The 8s are starting to get bought up. I'm seeing 8.5s now.
Yeah, there is an 8.5 at Pinnacle.
Yeah, and and remember, Penny's a leading indicator book. So when Penny's at 8.5, the market tends to move in that direction. So it's been nothing but Houston money so far. And look, I mean, the Rockets are riding their best winning streak of the season, 6 in a row. They're healthy mostly for the first time all year, although they still won't have Kenneth Faried tonight. They won't have even Shumpert tonight. 2 guys who absolutely matter for Mike D'Antoni's rotation. But, with that 6-game winning streak, there's a quote from D'Antoni that really concerns me. It's your classic bet against quote. It's pretty good right now. Maybe too much. Just trying to walk that line, but I trust my guys. I knew they were going to get it right. You worry about when the coach says, yeah, it's running good, maybe too good. Certainly when we talk about a game where there's been a lot of steam towards the favorite, that concerns me. And I'm telling you, Faried and Shumpert, even though they were recent additions, those are 2 impact players. They're not as good when those 2 guys aren't in the lineup. Of course, obviously, Philadelphia, you talked about the loss to the Bulls. And then again, I use the Bulls as my buy team in the NBA stock watch. What are you doing over there? You're flicking your pen? You're bored?
You always bore me, Teddy. You're talking for the listeners. I know this stuff backwards and better than you. So go ahead, Teddy.
All right. So the Tobias Harris quote after the loss to Chicago. We've been in a couple of games now where the fourth quarter's been tight, kind of the same scenario as this one. Too many home run plays, too many turnovers, not really great execution on our end. When the fourth quarter comes, we've got to find a way to get to the free throw line, get in the bonus, and help ourselves a little bit. I don't disagree with that. They didn't bring it against Chicago. I'd be surprised they don't bring it tonight against Houston. And I wonder if the Rockets are a tad bit fat and happy for this one. I think this point spread for Houston has gotten a little bit out of control. 8.5 for me is a buy price on the dog.
Let's talk about Dallas and Orlando. And the reason I'm talking about this game is Orlando is 1 game back from playoff position, trying to chase down the Heat. Dallas, boy, dude, this team is a disaster. They've lost 3 games in a row. They've lost 8 of their last 9. Orlando has lost 2 in a row, but not shockingly. I mean, they lost to Philadelphia, but they shouldn't have lost to Cleveland. We've got the home team here at -7. The over and under is low for this day and age, 214. I think the point spread might be a bit too high even against a crappy Dallas team.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dallas was the best point spread team in the NBA for the first half of the season. At the All-Star break, Dallas was ranked number 1 in profitability. They were profitable in every role. Home favorites, home dogs, road favorites. I don't know if they've been road favorites, but road dog. Dallas was, there wasn't a single role that they had struggled in. And then the Mavericks traded away 4 of their 5 starters at the trade deadline. And what's left is a mismatched roster playing for the future, and the markets have taken a little bit of time to catch up, and now it looks like they've caught up. But when we look at Orlando as chalk, look at the Magic since the All-Star break. I believe the dog has covered every single game in Orlando Magic games since the, no, they didn't cover the dog in Philly the last contest. That was the first time they hadn't covered the dog. But anyhow, the point is they've been great dogs, lousy favorites.
Yeah.
And I don't think that changes necessarily. I mean, Orlando is a team, I want them in a step up in class game. I don't want them in a step down in class game. They've not shown the ability to win by margin at any point this season. And coming off another bad loss They've had a fair few of those. I don't trust the Magic to lay the price.
I'm just texting my lunch order. I'm having a shawarma. I eat more shawarmas than anything else in the world, pretty much, Teddy. Are you a shawarma guy?
That actually sounds pretty good. Order one for me.
How often do you get the pleasure of a shawarma?
I'll take the over if you ask me the last time I had a shawarma.
God, I'm eating at least 2 a week.
Well, good. Send one down here. I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I'm doing this pod instead of eating breakfast.
I eat probably 2 shawarmas a week and 2 pastrami sandwiches on rye a week and 1 bagel with cream cheese a week. And boy, am I Jewish. You can talk now.
No, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you like knishes?
No.
What about the stuffed derma?
No.
Denver, Golden State. Denver's 1 game back on Golden State right now. It's so interesting, though, Teddy, because, Houston's got that 4 seed. Nobody wants to play Houston in the second round. Nobody wants to play Golden State in the second round. The matchups are starting to become important. Golden State minus 6.5. The over and under here is 235. Denver lost 3 in a row recently against Utah, New Orleans, and San Antonio. They did finally beat the lowly LA Lakers. Golden State, on the other hand, they've lost 3 of their last 4. They lost to Boston. They lost to Orlando. A shocking loss to Miami. I don't know where to go in this game, my friend, but it is the game of the night and a game that should be fun to watch. Over, under, dog, or favorite? Talk to us.
Oh, no, there's no action on this game. There's not a chance I play this game. Golden State is now the single worst point spread team in the NBA.
Which is amazing. When you think about how many people are losing money, probably betting Golden State, because we know it's happening. I mean, the general public can't resist betting teams like Golden State. So I got to believe that the books are just loving this Warrior team.
I'm sure they're loving this Warrior team because, look at the last 11 ball games, 1-10 against the number for the team that's dead last in the NBA in profitability. And during that span, this is my testament to, is a team overvalued or valued correctly? Is when they win, do they cover? 5 straight up wins during this span without a point spread cover, which tells you that there's just a tax with Golden State. I think they're a very difficult team to get involved with betting on right now. The spots don't seem to matter. You say Golden State, this is your step-up spot. Hasn't mattered. And a lot of it has to do with the defensive end of the court. They're still number 1 in the NBA in offensive efficiency. Since DeMarcus Cousins has gotten on the court, we're talking about a team that's given up 120 points a game in their last 8. They didn't get a stop at all in that ugly loss to Boston earlier in the week at home. And again, it was a flat spot. It was on the West Coast team coming back from a long road trip, first home game. The Celtics came and smacked them in the mouth, and it never got any better for Golden State. So in theory, this is a circle the wagons type of game for the Warriors. But Denver's no joke, and you talked about that 3-game skid. Golden State will have Klay Thompson back in the lineup, which should matter. But this Nuggets team had their own 3-game skid. They looked into the abyss, and they had their get-well game against the Lakers. And I think that Denver's just fine moving forward. They're every bit as deep as Golden State, if not deeper. And as the number 2 team in the West, they're not going to look at the Warriors and say, oh, we can't compete with these guys. Statement game for the road team just as much as the home team. And Golden State is not a team I can lay points with.
Teddy, speaking of the Warriors, that movie in last week, 40 years old. 40 years old. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
I don't know. I was going to tell you why the 76ers called the 76ers, too. I just realized I've never answered that question.
Well, we'll do it later. Do you know the movie I'm talking about?
40 years, so it would be something from 1979?
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now?
Warriors.
What Warriors?
That's the movie. Remember? Warrior, come out to play. You don't remember that movie with all the gangs in New York? They went to a gang meeting, and then this one gang called the Warriors had to get back to Coney Island, and every other gang was trying to kill them.
Nope, that never crossed
One
my
of the
radar.
most classic movies of all time, dude. Just celebrated their 40-year anniversary. It still holds up to this day. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It is an amazing movie. And mind you,
I grew up in New York, so it's the kind of thing that if this is a good New York movie, I would have heard about it. I never heard about it before today.
Brother, it is not only a good movie, it is famous. I mean, it's an epic masterpiece, bro.
Okay, Corey Feldman, keep going.
Yeah, he ate in that movie. Oklahoma Thunder against the Clippers, dude. The Clippers. They are 4 games up on Sacramento. It looks like they're going to get into the playoffs and have the pleasure of being whooped by the Golden State Warriors. Oklahoma City, they're in the 3rd seed, holding close with Houston and Portland right behind them. We've got the home team, the Clippers, at -2.5. Do you want to explain that to me?
Yeah, Oklahoma City played a wild overtime game last night in Portland. And if you watch the game, you know how intense it was. That was playoff basketball on display at the Moda Center in Portland last night. And now it's the second of back-to-backs from a team off a grueling overtime win. You know, Paul George played 43 minutes last night, and Steven Adams played 39, and Russell Westbrook played 40. So the markets are saying this team's going to be a step slow, a step tired. I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
You know, OKC's the better of these two teams. And the Thunder, again, we talked about the get right game. OKC's been through a rough stretch the last couple of weeks without Paul George. Now they have George back in the lineup. George played well yesterday. He was a difference maker last night in that contest. He overcame a 51-point effort out of Damian Lillard last night. And they're better than the Clips. So spot-wise, the markets are knee-jerking, as they're going to, against the team that played in the intense overtime game last night. But you're not going to find me laying points with the Clippers against a superior team.
I agree.
OKC's the better squad.
I agree 100% here, Teddy. And the thing about it is nobody wants that 4th seed. I mean, the bottom line is, assuming...
Hang on. There's still 20 games left in the regular season. There's not one player on one team that has anything to do with seed. People are interested in the 8th seed and the 1 seed. Everything else is just stuff for us to talk about. It's not anything that any player, the coaches might be worried about it. No players worried about it.
Okay, but whatever the case may be, Oklahoma City needs to be beating these teams like the LA Clippers. And I am with you. I'm not buying into, are they going to be tired? Sure, but they're just light years ahead of the Clippers. Let's talk about the Heat and the Cavs, brother. You got a free pick on this game. The Heat are -8. The over and under is 213. Miami is holding on to that 8th seed by the skin of their teeth. They've got Orlando and Charlotte knocking on the door. Cleveland, they're zigzagging, bro. Lost to Brooklyn, beat Orlando. Lost to Detroit, beat the Knicks. Lost to Portland, beat Memphis. Miami's won 3 in a row. I hand the mic to you, my friend.
Yeah. And I think you're reading Cleveland wrong when you talk about zigzagging, because I'm interested from a point spread perspective. And Cleveland is making money right now for their backers. 5-2 against the number of their last 7. They had the bad loss to Detroit off a win, and the loss against Portland, where, I mean, it was a 3-point game with less than, I think, 2.5 left, and the Blazers hit 4 straight 3-pointers, and that was ball game. And then they ended up winning by 13. But the Cavs were right in that game, like they've been in all of these games of late. Kevin Love, and I don't think I've said this since he played at UCLA. Kevin Love's an impact player right now for Cleveland. He's made a huge impact on that team from a veteran standpoint of competing. And so is Matthew Dellavedova. Dellavedova's been, for a backup point guard, he's had as big an impact on a team's chemistry as you'll ever see. And they play hard with Dellavedova on the floor, and he's helped Sexton a lot. And on the other end of the equation, here's Miami, and every game's a must-win for the Heat, and they're in this hot battle. You look at Miami as chalk, and particularly as bigger chalk this season. I've got the Heat with a total. We're in March. A total of 3-point spread covers at -5.5 or higher all year. Sorry, -6 or higher all year. They've just not built the cover numbers. It's not what they do. So, yeah, +8, I'm all ears. And I'll get to the window with the Cleveland Cavaliers plus the 8 at Miami. That's a free play for Friday.
I love when you just you give out all these picks, all this information, but when it comes to a game you're going to bet, he drops his voice and heads to the window. Theodore, I'm eating a shawarma in literally 5 minutes, and then I've got meetings. I gotta go. I know today was supposed to be Marco. I can't thank you enough. Late minute substitution. You're the best, brother.
Sure. Now, should I drag out the ending a little bit longer just to stress you out? See if I can get a few more wrinkles in your forehead.
Hi, Teddy.
I love.
Shut up, Teddy. Listeners, we'll see you next week. Monday is with Teddy. Okay, dude. Be well. Take care of yourself. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. Good stuff.